Well, howdy there. Thanks for stopping in. You know what day it is, my beautiful creatures of the night. It is Saturday, quote, Sunday, unquote, morning. And it is time for episode 13 of Coffee with Contin. Now, it has been a rough day at work for me, so I'm going to ask that you indulge me a little bit if I kind of go ranty here. I currently have Lily, or Slayer CC as you've seen her, squirming around because of a comment that she made that I will not put any kind of context to. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. I told her I was going to put it in this episode, and that's exactly what I'm doing. You know what you did. I know what you did. I know what was said. And that's just going to have to stay between us. Yeah, I intentionally paused there just to fuck with you. Even as I'm sitting here recording this, she's sitting here putting crying face emojis, crying, laughing, crying, whatever the hell it is, because she's begging me not to mention what I did. Even though I did mention it, I have gone into no detail. She's a little gerber, but like, I've said it before. Lily is like a daughter to me, and has been for coming up in July. Shortly thereafter, it will have been 15 years that she has looked at me as a father figure. That kind of blows my mind when I think about it, considering the fact that when she and I first actually started talking, she had a newborn who is now, if I'm not mistaken, definitely feel free to correct me, Lily, her child is now a sophomore in high school, I believe, or at least he's that age or going. No, my bad. He would be a freshman or becoming a freshman in the coming months. So yeah, don't mind me. My brain is all over the damn place. Also, real quick, because I did mention work earlier, minute public service announcement from somebody who works in the healthcare field. I work with durable medical equipment and oxygen patients. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you are in the emergency room twice in the same damn day for the same fucking thing, do yourself a favor. I can understand wanting to go home once. However, if you go back to the emergency room for the same fucking thing that you left the emergency room earlier that same day for, don't go home again. All you're going to do is risk having not only one exceedingly high freaking bill just for sitting down in the emergency room, having somebody look at you, having somebody bring you back to behind the counter into a room. That alone is going to cost you a fucking arm and a leg. Now, on top of that, well, let's give a hypothetical figure to that. Let's say just them pulling you through the doors after you've entered the emergency room and sitting you in a room costs you $500. By leaving once and then going back, that right there is $1,000 that you're costing yourself. And we'll say the fact that somebody speaks to you after you've been sat down is another $200. That's already a $1,400 bill if you're doing this twice in the same day. You can see exactly where I'm coming from. Just how fast that bill is going to rack up on you if you go more than once in the same day. Now, here's the kick in the head with all this. However much money you rack up in that visit, let alone in the second visit, if you're leaving the hospital under the circumstances as the individual I am referencing when I go over on this rant that I had to deal with today, you are not only risking having a high-ass bill, however, because you would, in that situation, needing to sign an against medical advice waiver form to leave the hospital when they're not ready to discharge you because they feel that you still need to stay, you're not only risking that bill, however, you're risking your insurance not covering that bill for you because you signed an against medical advice waiver form. Do yourself a favor. If you go to the hospital for any reason, the emergency room, if it is something that is potentially life-threatening, do not leave. Do yourself that favor. It may be a high bill, but it's going to be a lot less money in the long run just staying there to get the help that you need. In this situation, this woman not only left the hospital, the emergency room, twice. In the span of 2 hours, I spoke to this woman 4 times. Both times, she happened to be in the emergency room when our driver got to her home. Both times, she called me. She had just gotten home from the emergency room. I cannot tell you. I am under no such thing as a Hippocratic oath. While it is probably a positive that anybody who works in my type of position should be under one, I am under no Hippocratic oath of do no harm and all that bullshit. However, I obviously, for reasons such as HIPAA guidelines, I will not discuss any kind of identifying information. I already kind of feel that it's probably saying too much by identifying that it is a female patient. But considering how many female patients there are in this country, let alone the fact that I have not said what state she's in or anything beyond that, there are probably hundreds of cases of this happening with people every single day. Just do us all a favor. Stay where you are going to get the help you need. In the span of those 4 calls, I went from being a genuinely amicable mindset to wanting to scream at this woman for the blatant stupidity she was showing. Now, I will grant that lack of oxygen, once it gets to a certain point, which does not take very long at all, will do things to your brain. And I in no way am arguing that. But the fact that she left the emergency room twice, the fact that she claimed she'd been out of oxygen for hours. Now, mind you, Normal oxygen saturation should be anywhere between 90 to 95% for a full-grown, healthy adult. Once you start dropping below 90, things are going to start getting fuzzy and things like that. And that's immediately before what I call the red zone with oxygen saturation. For anybody who works in the medical field, you know exactly what I mean. Once you start dropping below a certain point, a lack of oxygen will start, brain damage at that point. If it goes too long, that damage can obviously become permanent. This woman, I don't know how much of what she told me was true, because obviously I can't question any of the patients that I deal with. I question how much of what she was telling me is true, because after 6 hours, because she claimed I was the third person she talked to, and she seemed to be calling in on an average of anywhere from half an hour to an hour in between each call. She claimed that she was below 75% saturation, which at that point, normal functionality such as anger and yelling and things of that nature, that's not happening right. Once you get to that point, it is effectively imperative you seek immediate emergency assistance, because going really any lower than that can be damn near fatal. What I find unbelievable about her story is the fact that she was at 71% and she's sitting there copping an attitude with me and getting angry when I would not tell her something I did not know myself. I cannot give somebody an ETA when I do not have one in front of me. I cannot give somebody an ETA if my dispatching team cannot reach the driver. I cannot give somebody an ETA if we cannot reach the on-call manager to get a hold of the driver for that information. Now, this all seems like a perfectly logical string of information. However, there's that thing. Oxygen saturation, once it gets below a certain point, then your brain just basically just goes away. Some people these days, I swear. Oh, look, my coffee pot. It wanted to say hi. So, let's see. Okay, so there we go right there. Normal oxygen saturation should be anywhere between 92% or above. What I'm seeing in front of me is a Yale Medicine facts sheet on pulse oximetry. Effectively speaking, this is saying 93% or above, you're doing okay. 88%, mind you, that is literally a 4-point drop, single digit, 4. They recommend to seek immediate medical attention. I don't know what possessed this woman to leave the hospital the second time, much less the first time. But if you're at 71%, you're well beyond the threshold of you need immediate help, get emergency services. So I'm sorry, I do not regret the fact that this woman was... Oh, no, let me rephrase that slightly, because that's not even coming out how I mean. I do not regret helping this woman, not by any degree. That's my job. That's what I'm paid to do. I'm there to be helpful for somebody. I'm there to offer them guidance when I can. What I do regret is the fact that I was the one who had to sit there and take this woman's verbal abuse because she was very clearly, in my opinion, lying to me. And multiple times, in fact. Would I do it again if the situation came up? Most assuredly. Like I said, that's my job. That's what I get paid to do. However, if you take anything from this, please take that away. Do not act rashly when it comes to a situation where you find yourself in an emergency room. And while I'm sitting here saying this, Hank, I really feel like I should be pointing part of this out to you, especially with that thing earlier about you stating, because my computer that I use, that I generally interact with everybody on, is not one that really shows pictures and things like that because of certain filters that are on there to prevent it. So all I have to go off of, Hank, is that you said I pulled one of my own teeth out. See, having seen that statement alone from you makes me feel like you really should probably be paying attention to what I'm saying right now. So, that aside, I'm not going to continue ranting. Just please, if you're in a situation like that, do not act dumb. Let the trained medical professionals do their job and help you. When you start acting stupid, that's when things start happening that cannot be fixed. I don't want to see anybody that's listening to this get into a situation where they're going to lose something vital to everyday life, whether it be a thumb, whether it be a toe, whether it be a foot, whether it be a leg, whether it be an arm, whether it be their life. Obviously, I can't force any of you to do anything. The world would be a very different place if I could. But just think things through. For your sanity, your family's sanity, and mine, take that to heart. Now, that all aside, it has been a very draining day for me. I'm probably going to be cutting this off very shortly here. I have roughly 6 hours from the time I'm recording this until I usually wake up on Sundays for work. I have to wake up in about 6 hours, and about 8 hours from now, right around that. So I wake up around noon my time. It's currently 5:48 a.m. And then I start work at 2:30. So about 8.5 hours. So that would be right. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And I'm looking over the numbers here. While we have had an increase, actually, I see that I did go from 19 to 20 subscribers since I posted episode 12 last night, which I find it hilarious that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet actually used the surprised Pikachu meme in the face for that 7-star rating. Which, coincidentally, if you're listening to this and it is still Sunday, I don't know if the Pikachu raid is coming back in 2 weeks like most of them have. I would probably say it's safe to assume not. So definitely go ahead and get in there while you can, because it does have very good rewards, as evidenced by the fact that Mark and everybody else that actually took part in that raid where we captured it got, I believe it was 3 ability patches, which is absolutely astonishing. yeah, I do find that hilarious, the fact that it is the surprised Pikachu face because it lost. That is absolutely hilarious to me. But back on to what I was saying. We have gone up from 19 to 20 subscribers, which, let me see, as a matter of fact. Oh, actually, no, that's not what I need. I need this back over here. Our new subscriber. Here we go. No, what? That's weird. It says I have a 20th subscriber, however, it's not showing who's subscribed today, which is very odd. Either way, according to what I'm seeing here, our most recent subscriber is ALGX. So I want to thank you for that, bud. It does mean a lot. I am going to go ahead and end it here. Like I said, I'm tired and I don't have much longer before I have to get up. Hopefully you all have a wonderful evening. Remember, keep that coffee hot, keep it strong, and I will see you beautiful people next week. Remember, there is the History of Draco video series also starting on the side from Coffee with Contin. That will not change my uploading schedule with this. You will still get this weekly at bare minimum, as I've been doing for the last 9 weeks. Today is the 9-week anniversary of Coffee with Contin. Thank you very much, all of you, for inspiring me to continue this long. And History of Draco, I have not decided exactly how I'm going to go about it. I'm primarily going to be focusing on each of the 15 generations of the Draco family. So you're getting a bare minimum of 15 episodes, depending on how I decide to break things up. So you all have a wonderful night. I love each and every one of you. Hopefully you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, day, whatever time it is that you're listening to this. And I will see you beautiful people, my wonderful creatures of the night, next week.